Hey, this is Kevin from Kevin's Microfleet. Today I'm coming to you with the Micro Galaxy Squadron review. We're taking a look at the Disney Store exclusive, the Droid Battle Pack. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at the figures, at the vehicles, at the accessories. We'll take a look at the packaging. We'll do some measurements and we'll do a comparison. Let's go ahead and dive into the review. Packaging. First, on the front, you get the Disney logo. So this is from the Disney Store, and this is an exclusive to them. And then you get down here on the bottom, Micro Galaxy Squadron, Droid Battle Pack. It's got 20 pieces. And on the packaging here, the interior doesn't look like there's a whole lot going on in the background, unlike what we get with some of the other Micro Galaxy Squadron vehicles where we do get a scene in the background to be able to display this. This one doesn't, although there are some little stars back there. We'll take a look at it here once we get the packaging open. As we turn this thing to the side, you get a chance to see a bunch of other cool logos and cool deco here on the outside of the box. As we turn this thing all the way around, you get a somewhat generic looking back here. So this is a matte finish. It tells you what comes in this. So you get 2 Vulture droids, you get the AAT battle tank, 3 STAPs, and 7 droids, which is great for being able to build out your separatist army. And then again here, like we get with all of the other schematics that we have on the back of the Micro Galaxy Squadron packages, you get the different features that the vehicles have. So as we get a chance to see, here's what the bottom of this looks like. Flip this over. That is that. So let's go ahead and break this thing out of the box, and we'll take a look at all of the things that come inside this, beyond what you can see here on the front of the package. Right before I open this up, you can actually see here on the side, it does have this numbered at number 154. So that does go along with what we're seeing with the other Episode 1 vehicles that are in the 150s in terms of the Micro Galaxy Squadron, the way that they're identifying the actual number of the item. So pretty cool to see that this is numbered as well. And even though it's an exclusive, it is still part of the full line. So here is the interior of the package. As you can see, this is actually more of a silver finish than it is a white as it looks in the actual item itself. And you can see the little stars there. So you could use this somewhat as a display, although it's a little bit generic. You can obviously see the ribbing on here from the cardboard. So probably won't use this as a display piece, but this is what the interior of the box looks like. Now that we have this set out of the box, let's go ahead and start here with the figures. This is really one of, I would say, the biggest draws of this set to me, which is all of the different battle droids that you get. So you get 2 of these reddish ones, which are supposed to be Geonosian droids, and then you get 5 of your standard, just B1 battle droids. So we'll go ahead and take these out of the box, so that way we can take a look at the comparison of this relative to some of the other ones that we've got throughout the series. So if we start with just our standard B1 battle droid, here is what he looks like. So up close, you can see that one of the challenges you run into with a figure that is this small, the B1 battle droid is very thin. And so you can see how they've actually connected the head there right to the body, and the little antenna are all molded together. That makes total sense on a toy of this size, because if you make it any thinner than that, it becomes very easy to break. These guys do have just kind of this rubbery type of plastic that helps to be able to bend some whenever you move them around. So that is what he looks like, relatively generic, just a hunk of plastic molded into a battle droid. Some of the ones that actually have some paint on it do look just slightly better, and there's a lot of detail in this figure that you don't get because it doesn't have a wash on it, but if you put a light wash on it, then all of those details will pop out. Now, if we look at this one compared to our standard battle droid, this was from Series 2, you can see maybe just a tiny bit of a difference in the color, where the color with the standard version is just a little bit more of a pale beige versus the one that's coming in the Disney set that's just a little bit darker. But basically the same. And then there's one other version of the battle droid which we got that was in the Battle of Coruscant battle pack. It's the same exact mold, but you can see it's got a little bit of yellow there on the chest and on the head. And so if you wanted to simulate that to make some type of a sergeant of some sort, you certainly could do that as well. But they did a really nice job with getting that yellow on the head for that one figure. Now, the other one that we're looking at here is just your other Geonosian battle droid. And so you can see what he looks like. Again, the same mold. And here it is relative to the droid that you get with the AAT battle tank. So this is what he looks like. And so you can see, again, just a very slight difference in the color. You can definitely see the changing of the parts on the one on the left side, the one that comes in the Disney pack, where you can see the body looks like a slightly different color than the arms and the backpack. Now, I will say, as I'm looking at this with the light on the camera, it does make that seem much more obvious than if you're looking at it with the naked eye. You really can't tell that much of a difference. But there is a slight difference there in the color between the two. The mold, again, is the same as the other one. So those are your droids. All of the droids are 1 inch tall, so we'll go ahead and skip the measurement on that. And so let's go ahead and move on to the next piece of this set, which is the STAP. So the one thing that I will say was a little disappointing with this, and this has been common with a lot of the Microgalaxy stuff, is that it's inside of these blister packs that are very, very hard, and it's hard to get them out. So when I took this one out, I broke the handlebar off, so just be very careful as you're taking these out. But I'll show you one that is not damaged. And here's what it looks like. So they have great detail on this. You can see the little engines there. You've got the little footholds on it. It does have this C-clamp on there, which is actually great to have to be able to put the figure in there to hold it in place. Some of the other ways to hold a figure in place would be to put like a little peg hole on the feet, which really doesn't function very well. So that's what happened in the Action Fleet version. That just doesn't work very well. And then here is all the detail that you get on the top of it. I mean, this thing looks really nice for what it is. And then it does come with a small stand here. So you have this stand where you can actually pop this thing in here in the top. Or if you wanted to fly it around, you can stick it here on the side. Now, it does fit pretty loose in there. So you can see if I were to flip this thing over, it can fall out pretty easily. It didn't right there. I mean, you can just shove that thing down in there so it sticks in tight. But that is your STAP. Now let's go ahead and measure this thing out really quick. So you can see the actual STAP itself is 1 1/4 inches tall by about 1 1/8 inches wide front to back, and then side to side it's maybe 3/4 inch. So great, a great STAP here to have. Now, if we look at this one compared to the Series 2 STAP, which is on the right side, you can see again the same exact mold, maybe a tiny, tiny difference in the color, but not much of a difference really at all that I would say that yes, it's different. Now, if you were not able to get the Series 2 STAP, this would be another great way to do this, to get this in this set. Series 2 Scout class was very difficult to come by. Really, the only way to be able to get this was mainly through Amazon, the Scout class and light armor bundles. But that is your STAP. Now, as we keep moving along, we get to the Vulture droid. So the Vulture droid does come with 2 different Vulture droids in here. So you get the walking version and you get the flight version. Now, the great thing about this is this thing does have a couple different features to it. So with this version, you can actually pop these wings open. Let's see if I can get this to happen. It's a pretty tight thing. There we go. And they will actually clip into place when you get them all the way out in their full flight position, which is very difficult to do. There we go. That's cracked in. So, and then it has this nice detail here on the underside. It's got just a very light wash on it. And then here is what the underside looks like. And then the head actually does open, and it has a little clip in there for a figure if you wanted to put a figure in that. So it's a nice little feature to do. I don't know that there's a whole lot of people that will probably do that with this set. I have done it mainly just to store the figures instead of having them sit out on the shelf, but that is really cool. And then these do pop off as well. So this is another one which gets a little bit tricky. So this is the first time I've opened this one up. Get one off of there. Boom, there we go. So a lot of force needed to pop that thing out of there. And you can see it's actually labeled there, L1 for left side. And then you get these two other walking legs, which are used if you want to put it into walking mode. This is actually a great feature to be able to offer these two separate legs for this, because if you do have it where this thing opens up and then the legs switch and move around and all that stuff, it is a cool idea, but I think the actual functionality of it in terms of being able to play with it makes it a little bit more difficult. So there it is with the leg on. Now, this is one thing I would say, if you get this set, just confirm when you get it that you have the right legs. I have seen some in the past where the legs are incorrect, where you get two right legs or two left legs. So just make sure you double check that. And again, it says it on here on the actual leg, whether it's right side or left side. Hopefully we've gotten past a lot of those errors that we ran into when we actually got these sets initially, which was light armor class in series 3, I think. So you also have here your walking version, which both legs move like that. You don't get any articulation here in the actual whole section of the leg, just the individual legs do move. And that is that. And then again, you got your two other wings. So here's my right side and my left side. Now, if we look at this one compared to the version before that came in the light armor class, they are the exact same. So there is no difference between the two. You got the same exact coloring on the bottom. The legs operate the same. The sides open up. The color on the inside is the same as well. So no difference there. If we do look at this compared to the old Action Fleet version, here is the old Action Fleet Vulture Droid. I do like the color of the Action Fleet Vulture Droid. This does have just a little bit more to it. You can obviously see the size difference between the two is pretty substantial. And then the Action Fleet one does have the actual ability to open up the legs, and you can pull this out and rotate them and everything like that, which is a pretty cool feature to it. So if you want to check out how this thing operates, I don't want to spend a bunch of time doing that right now, but you can certainly check out my other review for the Vulture Droid that has more of the articulation of this bad boy. So now let's go ahead and move on to the final piece of this, which is your AAT battle tank. And with this one, this does have a couple different features to it. So you do have the rotating gun here on the sides. You have the top here, which rotates all the way around. Well, it gets all the way about to there. You can actually move the laser cannon up and down. It has an opening cockpit right here on the top to be able to put a figure in. And you can see there's a little bar in the middle to make sure that the figure stands up nice. And then the other really cool feature to this is actually this front part opens to be able to seat a figure there in the front, and you get some detail there on the underside. Now, one of the challenges you always run into with this toy is that it falls over. So because it's so heavy here on the back and there's not as much on the front, it's very easy for it to tip back. So they have this nice little stand here on it to keep it upright. And then it does actually have a couple different wheels, so you can wheel this thing along. The wheels, I would say, don't function as great because there is not a wheel on the actual leg here. This is just a little nub there that holds it upright. But it is nice that it has that feature. There is a light wash on this, as well as you get your burn marks there, which are pretty cool. And so if we compare this to the AAT from the Series 2, which was very difficult to find, mainly because Series 2 didn't hit retail just because of some of the overflow of Series 1. So you can see the mold is the exact same, be a little bit heavier wash on the Series 2 versus the Disney exclusive version, but everything else is the same. All of the features are the same. There is no difference. Again, just a little bit heavier wash. And it's got the wheels on it as well. So the other thing I wanted to just compare this to is the Action Fleet version of the AAT battle tank. And you can see the Action Fleet one has a lot more color to it. So I do like that, and it has more details on the paint versus the Micro Galaxy one that just basically has the burn marks here as well as a little bit of brown on it, but the Action Fleet one has a lot more. Now, obviously, one of the problems with the Action Fleet one is this top turret here is just this soft rubber material, and so you can see it droops over time. It does have wheels on the bottom of it and a lot of detail on the bottom as well. And then it has the ability to have little flat pieces here to keep it in a stable position, or you can change that over to actual wheels and roll this. It only has the opening cockpit here on the very top. That's the only thing that happens. There's no leg hole in there to be able to get the figures to stand up, so they kind of just flop around inside. But those are your two different tanks. So I would say for this set, with all of the stuff that you get with it, it is a pretty nice set. I would say if you don't have the STAP, if you don't have the battle tank, if you need a couple more Vulture droids and you need to build out an army of battle droids, this is a great set to pick up, and I would recommend doing it. Keep an eye out for discounts on Disney Store. There are some Disney Store discounts that you can end up getting. They're not active right now, but I'm sure there will be some in the future that you can take advantage of to be able to grab this. That's all I've got for the review. If you liked it, please go ahead and like and subscribe. Thanks for tuning in. Check out all the links below, and I look forward to seeing everybody on the next review.